Hi and welcome to VMware ESXi Real-World Hands-On Training for Beginners. In this course we're going to learn how to install VMware from the ground up and actually install an operating system. It's a fundamental course, a quick and easy way to learn how to get started with VMware. So what is VMware ESXi? Well, VMware ESXi is the bare metal hypervisor in the VMware vSphere virtualization platform. A bare metal hypervisor is used for creating and running virtual machines or VMs, and these can be Windows, Linux, or Mac OS. VMware ESXi runs on top and accesses the hardware directly without the need to install an operating system. So think of VMware as its own operating system that you would install directly onto the server. So think of Windows Land. If I'm installing Windows Server, I would get the software from Microsoft and I would install it directly on the server. The same applies to VMware. You can go down to the VMware website, you can download ESXi. It's free for production and for training use as well. However, there are some limitations which we will discuss. So, what is a hypervisor and how does it all work? Well, as you can see from this picture, we've got a physical server which would go ahead and we would download VMware ESXi. That now becomes our hypervisor. Once we've installed ESXi, we can then go ahead and install virtual machines, and those could be Windows or Linux VMs. Of course, we will need to create a data store. A data store is what holds all of our virtual machines and other bits and pieces that we may need access to. And we will do this in our hands-on lab. We will create a data store and actually install a virtual machine in that data store. So again, this is just a high-level overview to get you familiar with some terms and of course get you to grips with the fundamentals of VMware ESXi. Some of the key features of VMware ESXi is traffic shaping, memory ballooning, role-based security access, logging and auditing, a GUI. You access it via a web browser or an agent. You would install this on your PC, the agent, and then you would connect directly to the ESXi console, or you would open up a web browser, type in the IP address, and connect to the console and manage your infrastructure that way. Of course, we have vSphere Power CLI, and of course, ESXi has the ability to configure 128 CPUs and 120 devices. Pretty cool for a free, full product. So what is traffic shaping? Well, traffic shaping is the ability to control the quantity of traffic that is allowed to flow across a link. Rather than letting traffic go as fast as it possibly can, you can set limits to how much traffic can be sent. So that's traffic shaping in a nutshell. Memory ballooning. Well, memory ballooning is a process where VMware ESXi hosts reclaim memory back from a virtual machine. And memory ballooning is an activity that happens when the ESXi host is running out of physical memory and the demand for virtual machines get too high for the host to handle, and that's when memory ballooning kicks in. So again, getting you familiar with some terms. Role-based access is a role that enables a user to complete access to all objects on the server. You need at least one administrator, and you need to have administrator permissions to modify and do stuff in VMware. Of course, logging and auditing. The purpose of logging and auditing is to record and examine activity and information systems that affect the information of assets. This includes hardware, software, controls. You can track activities such as modifying assets, including protection and health information within your information systems or within your organization. So again, that's logging and auditing in a very basic format for you. Then we have the Power CLI. The Power CLI is a PowerShell command baseline interface for managing VMware vSphere. VMware describes Power CLI as a powerful command line tool that lets you automate all aspects of the vSphere management, including network, storage, VM, and guest OS. Again, you can download this from VMware, and again, it's free and it's a really nice tool. Of course, then we have the ESXi data store. The data store allows you to deploy block storage devices that use the vSphere or virtual machine file system. And you'll come across this if you're working on VMware. You'll see VMFS format. in case you're wanting to know what that VMFS format, that will tell you that you are running a VMware solution in your organization. Of course, VMFS is a special high-performance file system format that is optimized for storing virtual machines. Data stores in VMware and ESXi are storage containers or files. So think of a data store as a storage container for your files. Of course, data stores can be located either on the local hard drive or across a network SAN or storage area network. In the real world, you'd find that the data stores would be on a SAN, and they would be separate, and they would be connected to your host. And you can have multiple hosts. A storage area network, or SAN, is a specialized high-speed network that provides block-level network access storage. And again, it's that block-level storage that allows us to run VMs in our environment or virtual machines. Of course, what are the benefits of using ESXi? Well, installing ESXi in a data center is quick and simple because it's a lightweight footprint of 150 megabytes. Admins need fewer patches because ESXi is lightweight in its format. The security and management is built into the VMware kernel. It also offers a very simple, simplified GUI. And the free version limits users to use 2 physical CPUs. And of course, going virtualization as well allows you to recover and deploy VMs a lot quicker in the real world. There's a lot of benefits to going virtualized in your organization, whether it be VMware or Hyper-V. Of course, the console can be accessed, like I said, via an agent or a web browser. And of course, VMs can be accessed as well using the console or the remote desktop or SSH from your PC. So as you can see in this screenshot, you can see the ESXi console, and of course the yellow screen is the vSphere itself. If you log into it, there is no interface, there is no GUI. If you want to get access to the GUI, you need to do that from another PC, and you can access that GUI, like I said, either using a web browser or using an agent, depending on the version of VMware you are running in your organization. Of course, VMware versus vSphere. Well, VMware vSphere acts as a suite of VMware server virtualization products, which includes ESXi. ESXi is the exclusive hypervisor for the VMware vSphere licenses. Admins can use a vSphere host as a foundation for a private cloud environment. VMware products include vSphere, and they encompass software such as VMware vCenter, the VMware Web Client, the vSphere Client, the vSphere Distributed Switch, of course VMware High Availability, and of course the VMware Virtual Symmetric Multi-Processing. So there's a lot of things around VMware. And again, this course is just designed to get you up and running with ESXi for the very first time. And of course, you can then build on your knowledge as you learn more, as you grow into the role or grow into exploring the different capabilities of VMware. Of course, to recap, VMware ESXi is a bare metal hypervisor in the VMware vSphere virtualization platform as a bare metal hypervisor for creating and running virtual machines. VMware ESXi again runs on top of hardware, and it interacts with that hardware directly, so you don't need to install an operating system and then install VMware on top of that. You don't do that. You can just go ahead and install VMware directly onto the hardware, and of course the VMware operating system is the hypervisor. Of course, ESXi is free to use both in production and at home. Thank you, VMware. You'll need to sign up and create a free user account to download the software. Of course, when you download the software, you get a full license as well, so that if you do decide you want to upgrade from ESXi to vSphere and have access to a multiple range of tools, then you can. So again, like I say, it's free to use. Thank you so much, VMware. And of course, if you go to the link below, you can obviously explore more and get an evaluation version and you can go ahead and download ESXi. And of course you can download ESXi from version 5 right through to version 7, depending on what version you want to use. The latest version is 7.0.5. So again, that being said, let's dive into these hands-on labs, and let's install VMware from the ground up, and let's go ahead and deploy our first virtual machine, create our data store, put an ISO in that data store, take snapshots, just get familiar with some of the basics on learning ESXi. So I'm going to switch over now, and we're going to dive into the labs.